Hey guys, I'm in the middle of a JT Splatmaster z100 Autopsy. Okay, and I wanted to show you guys a few little things that are really interesting. Okay, all right, so here it is, right here. I got it taken down. This blaster is really interesting. It's a paintball gun, okay, and it uses a method of expansion to take it apart, okay, to take it completely apart. So for example, where is it at the moment? Okay, your rear cap. And I do like the fact that it is nice nylon plastic, which I have been saying for years, we gotta start making blasters out of nylon. But of course, I don't own my own company, I'm not rich, I can't exactly do that. I may be sounding a little today because I sort of gave myself a concussion shooting this accidentally with a glue dome right in my temple. I'm okay though. I'm all right. No big deal. Okay. This is your top frame right here. Okay. But what I noticed was the frame, real nice, real tough. Look at this. This is the rest that your frame is off of. Okay. So your frame is hanging off of this. I originally wanted to do this because my friend Summer, also known as Tricks 1204, on Facebook known as Tricks Nerf, has one of these. It's a decent blaster, but look at that magazine well. That square right there is a magazine well. See if we can get a light through it. See if we can see through it. Oh, there it is. You see it? You can't feed a Stefan through that. There's no way. So, what could you do? You could file this whole back side, because look at how there's empty space here and here. It goes all the way up. But then you got this. I don't know if this is a safety. I think this is a safety, actually. But this is all now at this point pretty much one piece. Maybe I can get this out. I'm not sure. But major pain. You would either have to use a smaller version of darts, or you would have to pretty much file where the safeties are, everything, you know. So that was a bummer. Okay, you could make a frame like this, 3D printed. You could put this entire inside mechanism in it, sure. But then you'd have to also 3D print the magazines, okay? You can make them wider, but look how far, and I did mill that entire inside last night. Ah! Dart just doesn't want to prove a point. Look how far it is out, okay? The spring buckles, everything, you gotta do something about that, right? Probably use a magazine spring similar to an Explorer 12-rounder, okay? Look at that, look at that. Okay, you're missing by that much. Could it be done? Geometry suggests yes, it can be done. It can be done. You could make a 7-round mag to fit Stefan's or Explorer Stefan's. Also put in mind that this one is a little longer than your typical Explorer Stefan you throw in an Explorer 18 or an Explorer 12, okay? The real disappointment came when I got to the firing mechanism. Okay, so, like the outer frame, your plunger tube, which has your barrel, which also is made for a paintball, that's no big deal. I could file that down to actually accept Stefan's. There's enough room to file it. I may have to get rid of this pin, and I may have to make the barrel fixed, so when it goes back, it stays like that the whole time. I could do that. That could be done. That's not a problem. So feeding a lot of modification 3D printed parts and getting several $100s into it, sure, you can do it, okay? But that's several $100s into it, and a lot of modders are like, well, $110 is homemade territory. Yeah, whatever, okay? These things take a lot of work to make, alright? The barrel, however, I mean, it's about 5-6 inches. That's pretty nice. But it's not as nice as when you get up to the high magnum level, where you need 7, 8, 9, 10 inches to shoot above the 150s, 160s, okay? The blaster with Elite Darts shoots in the 120s, 130s. With Sonic, shoots about 90 feet per second. With Stefan's, I think you can get them up to 70 with number 6 washer slugs, about 70 feet. It's good but there's several problems getting this thing long range. Which is funny because there's actually a built-in Tasco sight mount right here, which is really nice. It seems like it would be a really good platform. This barrel moves all over the place. I was firing at a towel on the other side of my room. Okay, a little towel. Not my typical 60 yards. See that towel right there? Right there, right in the bathroom. Not my typical, not 60 yards, sorry, 60 feet down the hallway, which is how I test my ultra matches. To hit a target about that size, that's about 15, 20 feet away. That's not that much. And it couldn't hit it reliably because this goes everywhere. It just does. Okay? So everybody says, why are your barrels fixed? Why are you this? Why are you that? Well, there's a good reason for it. It's so that the barrel doesn't move and you're trying to acquire targets outside of 100 feet. You need everything to be solid as possible. I was very lucky to get the ZDC C system as solid. This is off this this is a ZDC-C long shot plunger tube off of the Bird of Prey Type L, which I am working on making some clip fed operation. And how it's going to work, and that's how the whole thing comes off. How it's going to work is I'm going to take the barrel and I'm going to make it so that there is a rod spring loaded that goes to the plunger, unlocks a certain point, slaps forward and slams around into the barrel. It would be about a 12-inch long barrel because up to about the front of the blaster is about where it is. Again, 3D printed parts, all sorts of latches, machining cams, a lot of issues, including a bolt carrier that is spring-loaded, made of stainless steel. Okay, there's reasons for that too. Okay, and everything. And again, you're talking about $100 to $200 worth of development in a society of Nerf people that expect everything to be $20, $30. So, me being a shooter that goes by range, everybody thinks my darts are wild. Okay, they're wild at 150 feet. They're not wild at 20. Okay? There is a difference. The more solid of variables you have, the better. But let's not mistake it. This is a badass pistol. I'm just saying, not good for trying to tag people out of 100, 120. Decent, okay, but not good. Okay? What I really think it should be is a clip-fed blaster that you're trying to bag people 60, 70, or 80 that can't dodge your shots. A lot like the R-Spec Retaliator was built for. It wasn't built to be a long-range sniper. It was built to be a close-end combat blaster you couldn't dodge. Okay? So let's get to the plunger. Nice construction, decent, right? The problem is the plunger head itself. Look at that. Okay? Why is it so weird? Why does it have these little ports here? I can only guess they were trying to lightweight a piece of nylon 6.6. Why, I don't know. Okay? But it gets weirder than this. Here's your catch right here. Nice catch. I mean, this is strong. This could take a lot of weight. Okay? But your catch is limited to right here, and your muzzle is limited to right here. So, when you put this all together, and you take the stock Magnus spring. This is pretty much a Magnus spring. It's a little stronger. I think the Magnus spring is about 5K. I would have to say this is 8 kilograms, but it has more length and compression. Therefore, what it does is it has a better torque curve as you're firing it. A lot like your snap pulls or your bow snaps, which are using full-length K26s, okay? Which has 7 inches of draw and longer. This does the same thing. You have a longer draw, okay, which is about right here, going all the way up here, okay? That's about 4 inches of draw, as where most of my blasters, well, okay, maybe it's more like 3 inches of draw, where most of my blasters are 2 or less, okay, and using really big plunger tubes. The nice thing about big plunger tubes is the period. You're throwing so much air in there at once, rather than a longer period, which takes less time, and it throws it really good. So let me see, the plunger ends about right there, okay? So when you put it on your frame, okay, and put in mind this and this take up actual frame, okay, this is no shit. Let me get the front piece to get an exact measurement, okay? So when you get the frame on there, you run into a very particular problem that you only have that much solid space for an outer spring. Half an inch. Outer spring's impossible. You can't do it. So adding spring yield, you either have to get a very big version of this, which I'm guessing that the spring itself if you were to thicken the coils, it would be too long a solid length. So what you'd have to do, I think a good suggestion for a JT Splat would be to take all of this and fill it so that you can use a 2mm wire spring and go all the way back. So what it does is, instead of your spring being here, it's here, but you have wider coils now. If you have wider coils, you're hitting with more power, and you can get that coil maybe up to 12, 14, 16, 18 kilograms. It can be done, but you cannot put a wider coil. Do you have room for a 2mm coil? Yes, let me show you. Okay, that's my suggestion. Make a custom plunger tube and put a wider coil. Do I have money to do this? No, and I love my ultra matches. So if it does 120, 130 feet per second, when I got blasters that are approaching 200, that are springers, this one's approaching about 170s, I think, 170s, 180s. To a 82K shooter, okay, 170, 180 is in. But for a sidearm, that's bitchin'. And I'll get into one of my other theories when I'm done. Okay, so here is your plunger rod, your guide rod assembly. Put in mind, it is not full length, so it does not go the full length of the plunger. This is to make it so it can be slide fed. It's nice. I like it actually, but okay. If you were to put an outer spring, it's twisting on here. And trust me, I tried. Okay, I used a softer spring. You know, I used a, this is a Orange Mod Works Stampede 4 kilogram. Not an 11 kilogram as in on most of my bird of praise right now. And that's my version 2 retaliator, which you hear me talk all the time. Version 2 retaliator, version 2 retaliator. What's so great about the version 2 retaliator? Well, folks, it fits there. Oh, but this one's sticking out too far. Yes, I know, because it's supposed to be compressed like that in the blaster. And then when it's like that, it puts extra weight on the plunger tube to make sure your air is compressed at the end of the barrel. I get so sick of explaining stuff. I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood today. I accidentally shot myself with this fucking thing, with a glue dome, being a goof. My fault, okay? The problem is also that this thing works as a spring retainer. It makes it so this long spring doesn't buckle out. At that point, it would buckle out and would leave little marks all over your plunger tube and eventually wouldn't get sealed. Easy to fix. Put Teflon tape around here. Put some lithium grease. Easy to fix, but eventually it would wear out. Okay. So you have a problem with the fact that this is not full length the whole time, and at some point this is gonna buckle like that. See what I'm saying? When it goes in, and this is why I don't recommend an ultra match J Splat Z100. It just can't be done. What I do recommend is figuring out how to make a clip fed, get a 3D printed magazine. Shit, guys, this can't take too much. You get the same spring magazine that you get on a PAC-D or an Explorer mag. You put it in here. It is heck electrical. It is sort of slanted. Okay, not electrical. Sorry, electrical means vertical and then down. Okay, but it can be done. It can be done. You just need a wider magazine. Take it all the way back here. Take it all the way up there. Figure out how to work these firing mechanisms. Make the firing mechanism just straight mainspring and get rid of that and get rid of that. You're talking a several $100 project. I just don't have the money for that. I just don't. Okay. So anyway, sorry to let you down. I could do it, but I got other stuff I'm working on. This is Chris Cartaya, and once again I'm saying I can go nowhere with this blaster with a simple mod, which is probably why a lot of people, they just haven't. Signing off. Poodles.